This is the only video you need to become consistently profitable in the forex market. You will not need to be confused anymore on the direction of the market. You will know where price is heading to, and if price is retracing, you will know the reason why price is retracing. Because in this video, I'm going to show you how to build a storyline. SOS, soap opera strategy. This is what I'm going to show you in this video. So stay to the end, because I'm going to reveal a lot of things that you have never heard before. Nobody is sharing this right now. So give me your 100% attention. Don't go anywhere. Okay? And I'm going to make it worthwhile for you. So to build a storyline, you need to understand two things. Okay? You need the price, objective, and obstacle. I did the introduction. If you have not seen it, go watch it and then come back to this so that it makes sense to you. Now, price only do two things. Now, price does just two things. It seeks liquidity and it rebalance. Now, where are liquidity? Liquidity are simply at areas of high and lows. Okay? You are going to identify old swing high and old swing low, regardless of the time frame you're looking at. Okay? I'm trying to tell you or show you how price move. Price just move in a series of up and down, meaning it takes liquidity. Okay, takes this liquidity, then comes back, take this, come back, take this, produce liquidity, take it, come back, take it, and this is how price move. Okay, and you can argue that price move in ranges. Okay, sometimes the range might be wide, which can become a trend, and sometimes could be narrow, which you then realize that, oh, this is a range market. But overall, price takes the upper part of the range, then the lower part of the range, and that is how price move. Stick to this. Okay, now what you need to do is to identify swing high and swing lows on your time frame. Okay, what do I mean by swing high and swing low? They are simply, you look for three candles. Okay, three candles including their wick, and where the middle one, that is number 2 candle, is the highest. Okay, or the swing low where is the lowest. Okay, the middle candle, the second candle, 1 2 3. You want to see a 1 2 3, whereby 2 is the highest, including the wick. Okay, sometimes the wick might be the only one that is the highest. It doesn't matter. Look for a swing high and swing low. Now these are kind of magnet to price. This swing high and swing low tend to magnet price, meaning price moves towards those levels. So this, if you can identify this on any time frame, that will be your what? Objective. That if price is somewhere here, let's assume price has taken out this swing low. Now the next thing for price to take will be the swing high. Okay, price will need to take the swing high, and so on. So if price took this swing low, your objective now will be what? To take out the swing high. Are you with me? Okay, so those are the old swing high and what? Swing low. Objective number 1, price objective number 1 is liquidity, because liquidity simply means money. Money is seated here. A lot of people will be trading in here. Okay, this is a good spot where you can place your stop orders up here and down here. If you are in a trade and you want to place your stop loss, where are you going to put it? You are going to put it below a swing high, below a swing low, or above a swing high, and that is where the liquidity is. The money is seated there. A lot of people are looking at that level, and so price will need to go there, fill up those orders, and if you are not smart enough, it takes you out of your stop order before heading. So liquidity is more like a fuel that price needs to move. Like in this case, it needs to fill that tank here before moving to this point. If it leaves it behind, that means it has to come back some other time to pick it up. Okay, so those are the two things you need to be observing when you are looking for price objective based on liquidity. So for rebalancing, price seek to rebalance all the time, okay? And most times this rebalancing are within the internal structure. Okay, this is what I mean. You have a move here. We have this rebalancing mostly within the internal structure. You'll be looking at it within the internal structure. Now, if you see a rebalancing above or like an external structure, then is a target. Okay. So now, what are you looking for rebalancing? You are looking for fair value gaps. Okay. And also gap in price. Now, this could be volume imbalance, or some people call it gap imbalance. It doesn't matter. All you need to do is know why price is going there. So for rebalancing, price look for what? Fair value gaps and also gap in price. Gap simply means you've seen a situation whereby price closed here, then all of a sudden it opens above here. It jumped, meaning and either the open and close here do not match. So that creates a gap. So price would need from time to time fill up this gap, okay, before it can resume movement. So price will need to fill up gaps. So these gaps here are simply volume imbalance. Now sometimes you can see candles like this, two candles that though they are close, but the open and close are not close together. This is also imbalance in price. Okay, these are also imbalance. 1 minute. Now when you see a situation whereby we have two candles but the open and the close are far apart, you can identify imbalance there, and this simply means price will need to draw towards this area. They becomes magnet, they becomes target for you. So you can decide to target those areas, look for a short down here. If they are above, you look for a long up there. So price simply move to fill up fair value gaps and what? Imbalance. Fair value gaps are simply, you look at three candles, 1, 2, 3 here. The first candle and the second candle and the third candle, the wick do not touch. So in that case, this is what? Fair value gap. So price will constantly seek to rebalance those fair value gaps. Okay, I'm going to put all together. For example, if you are building a storyline, you are going to start with the objective. So you ask me now, how do you build a storyline? Now your storyline will have to start with the objective. This is where you are starting with the objective on your higher time frame or the highest time frame. For a swing trader, you're going to look for the objective on the monthly time frame. What is the objective of price in the monthly time frame? That will build your storyline, because price will need to move from there to that place, and the storyline will then be what? Monthly is bullish. Okay, for example, if you look at this Euro USD pair, Euro USD here, when price took out this liquidity, look at it here. When price took out this liquidity here, this was the objective met. Now price is seeking a new objective. So the short-term objective of price from this level here, which I have been bullish, okay, since November, okay, is to fill up this fair value gap. Yeah, we have a fair value gap there. So price will need to fill up this, and that is the reason why my monthly storyline was what? Bullish, and it still remains bullish until this is met. Now when your objective is met, you then re-evaluate your story to tell yourself, do price have any reason to continue going higher, or should we look for a new objective in the opposite direction? Okay, so that means from here, you are not confused. Every day you come to the chart, you'll be looking for bullish price action. Okay, although we have obstacles in the lower time frame, I will get to that. But the long-term picture is that you are being bullish. You are bullish until price gets to this level. And why is that? Because we do not have fair value gaps whatsoever from 1, 2, 3, 4. The wicks are touching each other up until this point. So when price gets here, then I know that my short-term objective of price within the monthly time frame has been what? Achieved. Now, that brings us to what? The obstacle. Okay? Now, this is where, if you are not careful, you are going to move out of your objective. Because a lot of traders focus more on obstacles. Okay? Or you call it roadblock. Henceforth, I'll be calling it what? Roadblock. Because a roadblock are simply obstacles that are preventing you from getting to your what? Your destination. So they are roadblocks. So now, to understand your roadblock, you need to go to the lower time frame. Because the higher time frame here, we will not be considering roadblocks on this higher time frame. Okay? What you are considering here is objective. So if you go to your lower time frame now, this is where you start looking for what? Roadblocks. Okay, which are obstacles. And I will show you two things you need to be looking for within the lower time frame now. Now, the first thing you need to be looking for are roadblocks. Roadblocks, or you call it RB. Okay? RB. RB are simply obstacles that prevent you from getting to this mark here. For example, we have several RB. One was here. Okay? This is RB number 1. Because when you got your confirmation that price is heading up here, this is your first roadblock. Now, most traders will don't understand that this is simply what? A roadblock. Now, can you trade off the roadblock? Yes, you can trade off the roadblock if this was a weekly time frame or maybe a lower time frame, daily or 4 hour. What you should be doing with the roadblocks are simply intraday or scalping. Okay, you are going to scalp within this. Okay, that means you go to a lower time frame as a swing trader or as a scalper. Look for your higher time frame objective, and then within that objective, you are going to see roadblock in the lower time frame. So in that lower time frame, you can quickly scalp the market. You can see price move a little, but because I know that this is a roadblock, this becomes my protected low. Price does not need to come to this point, unless if I tell my story wrong. Okay. Now we also have another roadblock here. Okay, we got a roadblock here. Price came back in here after getting here, came back because this has been mitigated and led to this move. So price just blasts through that particular roadblock. So we have another one here. Now you see that most people were looking for short in here. Most traders will look around, they are looking for short in here. What they don't realize is that this is just a roadblock. Yes, you can look for short, but it should be for scalping and intraday. This is not a long-term move. Even if it moves from here down, this is where it will stop. Then we continue. Okay? So we have several roadblocks. Even right now, we are in one. Most traders are still looking for sell in here. I told my student, okay, that you should continue looking for bullish price until this is met. So now a lot of traders will say this is oversold. Right from here, for example. They are going to say it is oversold. They look at the stochastic, they look at RSI, oversold. We need to be looking for pullback. The only time you look for pullback is when price takes out this fair value gap on the monthly. Then if you see any signs, which I'm going to share with you, so stick to this video, okay? And if you like what I'm showing you, make sure you subscribe, like, hit the notification bell so that your algo will send this to a lot of traders. Okay, So stay to the end. I'm going to show you what to do. Now, in this case, when price gets in here, you have to look for some signs, which I will show you now. I don't want to jump the gun. But right now, I'll be bullish until this is taken. Now, is there any possibility of price moving down here? Yes, there are possibilities, which you are going to combine that with your higher time frame DZ zones, your MDZ, your WDZ, and your YDZ zones. If any of those are broken, you know that, okay, price wants to go a bit lower. Why? To grab some liquidity to fuel in order to get to this point. You are going to blend all of those things into one to build a proper story. The moment you know a story, it limits your confusion when it comes to directional bias. Okay, so the first one here within the lower time frame is to look at what roadblocks, and these are areas where you can be taking partials. If you are holding trade, for example, you can be taking partials at this roadblock. Okay, I'm still going to do a separate video on how to build a storyline for position traders, how to build a storyline for swing traders, how to build a storyline for what? Intraday, and also for scalping. Okay, so watch out for this channel. I'll bring more content so that it can help make you a better trader. Now, what are the other things that you see within the lower time frame? Another thing we'll be looking for are what? Auxiliary points. Now, auxiliary simply means help. A point that helps the higher time frame to what? Get to the objective is more like the opposite of the roadblock. The roadblock prevents. The auxiliary point, which is the AP, because when you hear me say AP, it simply means auxiliary point. This could be your order blocks, your fair value gaps, your supply or demand zones that will be responsible to support the long-term or the higher time frame objective of price. Okay, take for example, if price tends to come back to this fair value gap here, for example, this fair value gap becomes an auxiliary point, because it's going to aid in pushing price to the objective. Okay, if you don't understand here, if you go to the daily, you are going to understand the auxiliary point. Now, starting from here, okay, here we have our roadblock here. We have roadblock here, and this is your auxiliary point, because they will be responsible to move in the direction of your what? Objective. Auxiliary point in this case is an order block, okay, that push price into another obstacle. Because if you know that this is an obstacle, you can only take some few trades intra. Okay, you are not going to hold this to take out this low. You are going to know that price will then needs to take price, that is, the market needs to take price to where? Auxiliary zones. In this case, hidden base, your wick here, to move. Now we have obstacle here. Okay, what are your auxiliary zones? If you can point them out, if price come back here, these are your auxiliary zones. AP, that will be responsible for what? Pushing price. Or we have one here in form of fair value gaps, where you can go to your lower time frame now, refine in order to take an entry to push price to the upside. So, like right now, your auxiliary zones here could be here. Now, can auxiliary zone be broken? Sure, they can be broken. That means if price seeks to go lower. But I tell you that you are going to increase your win rate once you understand which is an auxiliary zone and which is not an auxiliary zone. It makes sense why price come here, you look for bullish buying, because it's still within the higher time frame DZ zones, which are the WDZ, MDZ, and the YDZ. Now the question here is, how do you know that the PO, the objective, has been met? Okay, now this is the only thing you need to know. Okay, now how do you know that the price objective has been made? Okay, on that time frame, if you see rejection, like you can see this rejection, price move up, open, okay, move up, then sellers came in and then closed below the opening. So now it could be above the opening. The color of the candle does not matter. What you want to see is price rejection. at that price objective. Okay, if you notice that, that means their objective have been met, and then you will be seeking to know what next. Are we going to look for a further objective, or are we going to move price lower to a new AP in order to push price to the upside? Okay, the same thing here. Price open, came down, buyers push it up and close either above or below with either a blue or a red candle, depending on what you are looking at. It does not matter. The candle size does not matter. What you need to see is what? Rejection. Now when you see rejection, then something in you will tell you that, okay, it seems that our objective have been met. You wait for confirmations in the lower time frame. Now let's go back to this. You can see that when price came to take out this objective here, what can you see here? We saw rejection in price. Not just 1 month, but 2 months. Okay, not 1 month. Price tried to go lower, but it could not take out this low. Okay, even if it took out this low but still returned back, that is a very strong sign. Okay, so in this case, I then know that our objective has been met. Okay, price tried to go lower, came back. These are rejection. Okay, in that case, your story now is saying that monthly rejection. Okay, monthly rejects of what? PO. That's your story now. Before then, you are moving towards PO. Now price is at PO. What next? If you notice monthly rejection of PO, then you start framing a picture on the lower time frame for a pullback. Okay, now if you go to the weekly, in this case, so weekly rejection. Okay, now if you look at this point, you can see rejection in the weekly bar, which makes this level here a key areas. Okay, this become a key level for me to know that price, if price closes above this and comes back in, then I'll be looking for bullish what? Trades. So you can see we have rejection here, we have rejection from those lines. Okay, the line should be lower. It will check where it's lower. So there are rejections. This also tells you that the monthly and the weekly are in what? Agreement. Then you can start looking for what? A new POI. Once you get the weekly and the monthly in agreement, look for a new POI, which in this case was that fair value gap above. Now let's look at pounds for something. Pounds USD. Now I want you to look at pounds here. When price took the liquidity, the objective, the first objective of price was to take this. Okay, now what can you observe here? What can you observe here? You can say that the monthly, after meeting that objective, there was rejection. Okay, stay with me. This is not cherry picking. This is exactly what is happening on the chart on the monthly time frame. Yeah, this is the January we are in. Okay, now what should this tell you? It tells me that, okay, if monthly is rejecting of this point of interest, that means we may look for what? Push to the downside. And I know that we also have an objective fair value gap above, which price can seek into. So in the meantime, what should you do? Okay, now in this case, I'll go to the weekly. What can you see in the weekly? You can see rejections on the weekly time frame there. And immediately you will have taken a trade from here to the downside, because the weekly and the monthly are in agreement. Therefore, you can start looking for bearish move, okay, either to take some internal liquidity. So to me, in the short term, the pounds USD is going to be what? Bearish, until we invalidate this particular what? Setup. If you go to your daily, what can you see? We can see that once we took that objective, there was a displacement on the daily time frame here. Okay, so the move up here is to meet this objective. When you meet this objective, you look for what? Rejection, to see if you can push price to the lower, and then this becomes our auxiliary point, the AP. Okay, we have met the first objective. This is not the main objective, because to me, I still expect higher prices.
But will price just keep flying? No, price we need to retrace, cool off, take up some liquidity to fuel the journey. So a very good place for you to start looking for shorts will be here, okay? Because we have the monthly rejection candle, we have the weekly rejection, and within that weekly rejection we have the fair value gap here, which is also a price objective. So when price gets here, we want to see rejection. When you see your rejection, then that confirms that price will be heading lower, at least to take out this low. Okay, these are simply possibilities that I'm looking at. Okay, it all depends on Monday, Tuesday, weekly DZ, WDZ zones, because we are forming it here. This was a good trade to have taken on Monday. I'll make some videos. A lot of people were asking me, do they need to wait Wednesday, Thursday before they take a trade? No, this was a trade, beautiful trade you can take. Okay, likewise with this. Why? If you put on those so all you need to do is, you don't have to wait. Stay with me. By the time you are done with the story, you trade alongside the story. Okay, in case you are a scalper or a swing trader, your higher time frame will be the daily, for example, and then you trade based on that. Build your story. Where is price at? Is it at any DZ zones? If it's there, what am I going to do next? You are going to find out that you are going to eliminate false, wrong trades. I'm not going to make this video to be too long, but in my next video, I'm going to talk about how to frame your story as a position trader, as a swing trader, as an intraday trader, and as a scalper. So you have to stay with me. Stick to this channel. Click subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, so that when I release content, you will be the first to be notified.